news and notes to the coaches and players for America's team, let us go inside the stars on 105.3 The Fan.
Opening week is here. It's going to be the Ravens and the Chiefs on Thursday. Filthy playing Green Bay Friday in Brazil. Darius Slay is already sounding like an Olympic athlete being thrown into the crappy village and being told to stay inside. More on that in a little bit. I'm Shan RJ alongside RJ Choppy. Bobby Belt will be back tomorrow. We got Pay running things live on the Fan Cam, Twitch, and YouTube. And early good morning to the Twolos and YouTube with Dak Delusional, Lil Dallas. We got Gregory on here. We got Claim Pincher. And we have John Frank along with Emilio and Nighthawk on Twitter. Cowboys came out and confirmed that Trey Lance will be the number 3 behind Cooper Rush during a week in which many people think it's do or Dak or die, however you want to phrase it, for the Cowboys to pay their quarterback before the season begins.
Got till Sunday. Sunday at 3-something is probably your end date for that one.
What a great week, in my opinion, for Dak Prescott. Just able to sit back, relax, and wait for the phone to ring because you got them by the short ones.
Well, you do. Oh, there's no doubt. You got them right there, right where you want them. And they may or may not bite on it. You know, it all depends on, you know, we was up to Florio last week, and, you know, he's like, unless the Cowboys know, I'm throwing this one out there, right? He's already, I love the lawyer in him where he just throws out the collusion word because he loves to throw out the collusion word. But he's like, you know, unless they know the whole league's going to collude against it because, you know, the NFL does not want. You know the NFL owners do not want a true free agent quarterback in their prime. They do not want that on the open market.
Well, some are calling this the biggest free agent quarterback ever, and I was like, that would be Peyton Manning.
Yeah, now the only thing with Peyton is that he was coming off the injury. Nobody really knew how he was going to play. They just assumed.
Yeah.
They just assumed.
He was a free agent, right? It wasn't a trade.
No, he was a free agent. They cut. You know, they released him in Indy, and he went on that tour.
Was Tom free?
Tom was.
I think he was.
Man.
He was a free agent.
Yeah, he was a free agent too. But again, now that was the end of the prime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dak is in his prime, and you know, Manning was kind of at the end of his prime, but
that just
also the injury.
That just disgusts though Dak haters and overall NFL fans to say that Dak Prescott would be the biggest free agent ever. People. That's not said. It doesn't settle right with people.
It doesn't. I mean, it does. I get it. I understand. It's
just an in your prime quarterback. It's an in your prime, very good quarterback who just finished second in the MVP.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. And he is at the peak of his career. Like this is the peak of his career. Last year was his best year ever, I believe. Now you could say that his certain things were better in other years, but I thought he put it all together last year, and he was phenomenal. So. This would be a huge moment for the NFL if Dak gets to free agency. And it'd be a terrible moment for the Cowboys.
And Nick Eatman predicting on Friday that he thinks the deal gets done this week. What do you think? Let's put it on the record. Today on Tuesday, before we start this thing on Sunday, is Dak Prescott signed with a long-term extension this week?
57% yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I still think it's obviously far more likely that he comes here versus not, but I'll say 57% yes.
So then why do you think, let's say it happens, why do you think it took this long? They'll say it's getting our affairs in order financially, making sure we can pay this and fix that and twist that, because you can make anything spin to your argument in this world of sports and NFL spending, in particular.
I think the reason it took so long is one, yes, that like they wanted they had an order in which they wanted to do things and they wanted to wait. But I also think that part of this is Dak just didn't want to take the offer they were giving him. Like they absolutely would have signed Dak for $53 million, and Dak's just like, I'm not going there. I'm just not doing that. Like that's not where I am. I need to have more money. I think that's a major problem.
877-881-1053, Franklin Franco injury attorney text line. Why is Mike Zimmer going off with an interview about the Minnesota Vikings now? I could see if they were opening against Minnesota.
I would think that.
But reporters in Minneapolis hitting up Mike Zimmer to talk about the ending and in true Zim fashion, he got some bangers here.
Oh, yeah, he does. This is from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Now, towards the end of it, he had an 8-year run. I thought it was longer than 8 years. But they went to the NFC Championship game in 2017 with Case Keenum. They were beat by the Eagles by 31. He was let go after 2021 when they went 8-9. All right, they went 8-9. And the article starts out, Zim was crushed, angry, sleep-deprived, the rare coaching lifer who had never been fired. They asked me if I wanted to address the team, and I said, hell no, they got me fired. I didn't know I was supposed to go to HR and sign out or whatever. No one told me. I got all my stuff, got in my truck, and left. I can tell you I've not watched one Minnesota game since.
They asked me if I wanted to address the team. Yeah. Hell no, they got me fired.
Hell no, they got me fired. But
he's kind of blaming the general manager.
Yes. The next part of this article goes with 4 third-round picks. Rick Spielman selected in order Kellen Mond, Chaz Surratt, Wyatt Davis, and Patrick Jones II. Zim was there for only the first pick. When he picked Mond, I walked out of the room. I left the building. I didn't even talk to him on the phone. They talked the next morning, and Rick said, "You mad at me?" And I said, "Yeah, I think he took 4 backups when we had guys there I thought were starters." Only Jones, with 4 career starts, is still a Viking. Mond, Surratt, and Davis have 0 starts. Mond lasted 1 year. Minnesota is now out of football. He played 3 snaps in 1 game. The 37-10 loss to Green Bay that knocked the Vikings from playoff contention. People made a big deal out of me saying after that game that I didn't need to see more of Mond. I saw him every day in practice. Maybe I was omniscient.
Yeah, we need Bobby for that word.
Or something. He played 3 NFL snaps and 2 were bad.
And I remember that quote. And I'm sure I blasted Zimmer for that quote. Like, inappropriate. Like, unnecessary, just destroying his quarterback. Like, no, I don't need to say anymore. I watch him practice every day. Basically calling him an outright bum. Yeah. Now, he ended up being right, but you don't say that out loud as a head coach. And he did, and he was right, but leaving the building and walking out because he was not happy with the GM picks.
This is insane. Like, this wild. Not wrong wild, just like, holy cow, I can't believe this is happening.
He's also ticked off at a guy that I got ticked off with last time he was on, because in true Homer fashion, Paul Allen, he's loose. I love that all-time call of Adrian Peterson. He tried to act like everything was kumbaya with Stephon Diggs. And we're like, no, that's not what all the reports are saying. And he, basically homered it up.
Wow, it's amazing that a play-by-play guy would homer it up on social media.
I know.
Never seen anything like that.
Ask RJ Ochoa about that. But he was doing play-by-play when Zimmer shoved Cousins, which I went back and watched that again 3 times yesterday, of this weird tension. You could tell that Mike Zimmer just hated Kirk Cousins' guts. We should have asked him about that on the beach in Oxnard. And Paul Allen was observing that, saying Mike Zimmer snapped. Well, Zim, in this interview, said, I just didn't like what Paul Allen said. We're supposed to be friends. Why you got to talk about me? Unfortunately, I hold grudges. That's just how I am. So he's mad at the play-by-play guy for describing the weird, awkward shove. He just wanted to overlook that and pretend like it was nothing. And, there's a reason why some people are regarded as coordinators, because Mike Zimmer is not going to, and I'm a big fan of Mike Zimmer as the defensive coordinator here, but Mike Zimmer may not do all the PC public relations stuff that you need in terms of kissing babies and glad handling, handing or handling, shaking hands, glad kissing handing, babies, and glad handling with ownership in the front office.
Look, I mean,
a little rough around the edges.
He is, but for somebody who's rough around the edges the last 8 years, pretty good.
Yeah,
like those guys usually flame out in a couple, 2 or 3.
I think he had a nice run there.
I think it was fine. Like, he never had an elite quarterback. He had a good one. Kirk was a good quarterback, never elite.
Mike McCarthy said, quote, Zim's a straight shooter, not a lot of fluff. This generation needs more of it. So that's Mike Zimmer going off on his former organization, and they don't even play this year. And they definitely are not playing. Like, this piece just came out of nowhere.
It really did. Like, it was very, very odd. The Star Tribune just needed, they were like, we need to have
we don't have our rookie quarterback here. We need content.
We need content, and let's call it Mike Zimmer and see if there's any beef still.
We ran out of Brian Flores stuff. So that's what's happening there. The shooting in San Francisco. Ricky Pearsall, rookie wide receiver, narrowly escaping death during an armed robbery Saturday night. And he was signing autographs at a nearby event in the afternoon, walked towards Union Square, and there were shots fired at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A 17-year-old male attempted to rob him of his Rolex at gunpoint, and apparently the bullet, RJ, went through his chest. And Pearsall's like, hey, I am a professional athlete. I'm a rookie receiver in the National Football League. I can get in a physical altercation here. The struggle for the gun resulted in gunfire. Both the suspect who was arrested and the victim were shot. Serious but stable condition, but it sounds like he's going to be okay, as his mom was giving an update that God spared my baby boy.
Shot through the chest, like, I can't fathom how he's just fine.
Yeah.
Now, because when I think chest, I mean like through the middle of the chest. Now, it could have been like upper part. There's one side of the chest, or like if you're going to get shot, like that's the place to go because it goes right through. I don't know what side it is. But.
So I caught some heat for this, and I knew I would, but I wanted to troll San Francisco as much as possible. And I quote tweeted this story, and I was like, San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen. And a couple of people are like, oh, like you know, shootings happen everywhere. Like this doesn't happen in Dallas. I think it was the founder of Cash App who got murdered and killed in San Francisco. We haven't had high-profile celebrities just walking the streets of downtown or uptown and they get mugged or fearing for their safety in uptown Dallas. That doesn't happen here. It happens in San Francisco. And, you know, Charles Barkley makes fun of it all the time. And Mike Bassick is always talking about what California, but what San Francisco has become along with Oakland. And Bassick just said, the Rangers told us to stay away. He texted me, the Rangers told us to stay away from Union Square back in May because how dangerous it is down there.
That's what this was, wasn't it? Union Square?
Yeah. So that's not happening in uptown. I haven't heard a lot of incidents happening in downtown. Now, we don't have the greatest downtown. I wouldn't walk around downtown just everywhere freely at 9 o'clock at night. But
there's also nothing down there. We don't have, like, our downtown is not like a, hey, let's go downtown Dallas. It's like more, like you said, uptown is more the place where everybody goes. It just seems a little bit safer. But, I mean, yeah, like, look, it does happen everywhere, but those are famous people, like you said, the Cash App guy, and then you know, Ricky getting shot, you know, right through the chest in a robbery. I mean, we just had a cop in Oak Cliff killed the other day, you know, murdered the other day. That just it's awful. Like, it happens everywhere. But like you said, famous people just being, you know, robbed at gunpoint. I mean, that sucks.